Hello to one and all present here. My name is Srishti Singhal. I am Assistant Professor of Law at IIMT University, Meerut. Today we will learn the most important and the basic concept of our Constitution. As we all know, Constitution of India is the biggest document and the supreme document of any country. So unlike any other country, we will talk about Constitution of our own country, which is India. So whenever we talk about Constitution, the first picture in our mind is of preamble. So today we will learn about what preamble is. Whenever someone asks that what is the essence of the Constitution, it is none other than but the preamble. So we are going to study one of the basic and very important part of the Constitution, which is preamble. So let's start. How preamble is written and what is the structure of the preamble? It is located here. So I'll read with you along. We the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution. So students, today you have referred to one of the basic and the most important aspect, which is preamble. We have noted certain words: sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic. Then its aim is to secure justice. Then there should be liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship. And whenever we talk that we all are equal, it is taking the reference from the Constitution itself, where it is located apart from different articles. It is located primarily in preamble, like equality of status and of opportunity. Then fraternity, feelings of fraternity should be there in each and every citizen of India, and this is a Constituent Assembly on this day. Are you able to see? 26th day of November 1949. Do hereby we adopt this Constitution and give to ourselves in this country. So students, today you have learnt a very important aspect on Constitution, which is the preamble. So now we have known that how preamble is looks like, what are the statement of the preamble. When we say we are equal, we have the feelings of fraternity. We not only justice should be attained on economic basis, but it should be sound politically, economically and socially. So all these things are written in our preamble, which defines the nature of the country, which defines what are the objectives of a particular country. So as you have studied, now in further slides we will study the meaning of each and every word. So this is yet another term, like the preamble to the Constitution of India is a well drafted document which states that philosophy of the Constitution, it declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and a welfare state committed to secure justice, liberty and equality of the people and for promoting fraternity, dignity and the individual, unity and integrity of the nation. It is the key to the Constitution. Very important what it is written. It is the key to the Constitution. It states in nutshell the nature of Indian state and objective, like we were just talking. The nature and objectives it is committed to secure for its people. So you have just noted a very important point. What you have studied, that the preamble, the Constitution is not only the well drafted document, but it is what? It is the key to the constitution. As you all know that constitution is a bulkiest document. You will be very astonished to know that our constitution of India is the bulkiest and a voluminous constitution in the whole world. Yes, right, you are thinking right. They are comprising of 198 plus countries. It comprises of leading nations, leading power countries, but our Indian constitution is a bulkiest constitution. It took almost 2 years to build such constitution. So it is not humanly possible to read constitution in one go. What is the, suppose if a foreigner comes to India, or if an Indian parliament or some minister or any other scholar or researcher wants to know about constitution, so it is practically not that much possible to look each and every page of the constitution. So what persons do? The first and the introductory part, they refer to the preamble. It contains all the gist. It tells that, like it is written, nature, objective, then it tells some qualities, some principles of that particular country, what type of country it is. Is it democratic? Does it have the republic principles, or like these things, and the principles of equality and all. Yes, you are following right. So now let's move further. So now we have studied what is preamble and how preamble looks like, what actually preamble tells about a particular country. We have noted that it is a key to the constitution. So now we will learn about the meaning. What does preamble actually means? So preamble is taken from the Latin word preambulus, which means introduction. Okay, preamble is taken from a Latin word preambulus, which means introduction. It is an introductory statement. It tells the purpose, and not only the purpose, it tells the philosophy behind any other particular subject, principle or act. It tells the philosophy, uses, ideas and aspirations, principles and objective of a particular country. And again, since we are reading the constitution of our own country, so it tells all these objectives, the statements, the uses, ideas and aspirations behind forming and putting such word, principles and objective of constitution. So now let's move further. Now first and foremost, the question comes in our mind that preamble, okay, it's a introductory statement, it's a very important document, it's a well drafted document, tells the nature, principle, uses, philosophy, but who was the person who drafted the preamble? As you all know that each and every thing is associated with some invention, with some principle, with some body. So preamble of our Indian constitution is drafted and adopted by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. You are okay? So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru drafted this. Right? So as you can see that it's written, it was in the form of objective resolution, then it was finally adopted on this date. So now I want to make you clear that each and everything is associated with some processes. So if we want to build something, if a research paper is there or any essay is there or anything is to be formulated, be it any book or outside some invention, it is first in the preliminary stage. So first it was in the form of the objective resolution. Objective resolution, kind of some objectives were mentioned, so they were not finalized. So this objective resolution was drafted on 13 December 1946 and finally it got adopted on 22nd January 1947. Then let's move further. Now this is a very important slide of our Constitution. It talks about 42nd Amendment 1976. So as you can see that the word amendment is written. What does this amendment actually means? Amendment, if we talk about legally, it means some change, because whenever we read in basic literature, change, altercation is a word, but in legal language we use by the word amendment. So by 42nd Amendment, some changes were made to the preamble, like 42nd Amendment changed the description of India from a sovereign democratic republic to a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic. Can you figure out the difference? What is the difference? From sovereign, before the word sovereign democratic republic was there. Now with the sovereign democratic republic, the word socialist and secular has been added in our constitution. Okay. Then another change was unity of the nation was written. Then finally through this 42nd Amendment, it was stated unity and integrity of the nation. Are you all able to see? Unity and integrity of the nation. Okay, before it was just unity. Now we have included the word integrity. Similarly, before it was just sovereign democratic republic. Now we have used sovereign socialist secular democratic republic. So you should remember the on which what was the amendment 42nd and the year 1976, in which certain words were added in our constitution. So now let's move further. Now come the source of the constitution. What is the source of the constitution? If we talk about any particular aspect, source means the roots on which it is based. So our constitution, as it is the supreme document of the country, its source lies with what? It is none other than but you. It is us. It is we the people of India. It is the people who has been it is the people who has been declared as the source, because when we have studied the preamble, it was starting by the name we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic. Then all these things follow, but first is we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute, which means it is us who are the source of the people, for the people, by, to, for. These principle means if there is any illegality, is there any arbitrariness, is there any unjust force, be it from the supreme level, it is the altercation, the source lies with the people, because they can change and give some altercations that these things are not according to the constitution, because whatever constitution, whatever the principles are formulated, it is for the people only. It is implied, applicable for the people. Understood? So as you can see, on the behalf of people, Constituent Assembly has made or drafted the constitution. Its nature is sovereign, socialist, democratic, secular republic. Then its objectives are, like we have studied before, its objective is to attain justice, equality, liberty and fraternity. Then this date is very important. So on this date, 26th November 1949, Indian Constitution was adopted. Now point to be noted, students, like you have studied further, that Constituent Assembly, which we have studied in the preamble also, it stated Constituent Assembly drafted the constitution, but these tells the nature, objectives, and this is a particular date on which it was adopted. So before, in the previous slide, we studied this objective resolution. It was adopted on 22nd January 1947, but this date is for the preamble when it got adopted. Now what we are studying? We are studying 26th November 1949. On this date our constitution wholly was adopted, and then you will ask Then when it is enforced? So 26th January 1950. On this date it got enforced and finally came into force, the Constitution of India. Like we celebrate Republic Day on this day, yes or no? Yes. So what is the importance of celebrating Republic Day? It is this only, that a constitution which was adopted a year before, now it has got enforced. Now you are understanding. Preamble was also in two stages. First was objective resolution, then finally it got adopted, and our constitution also was in preliminary stages, which was first adopted on a year back, 26 November 1949. Then after 1 year on this date, 26 January 1950, it finally got adopted, enforced. Then there are certain words which I would like to now explain, which we were telling before, that we will go with one by one word. So what does this sovereign means? Sovereign, if I talk about sovereign, relates to the word supreme. Okay, it relates to the word supreme. So supreme here means some authority which is giving an instruction, some head, some supreme, which is making somebody independent. Why independent means? Now we have our own constitution, we have our own rule book, we have our own rules, duties, which tells that our country is independent. Naturally, when some rules and bodies are coming from a supreme document, our constitution, okay, whatever the principles are included, then it is considered as an independent country. So that's why the word sovereign is included, that we are sovereign, we have our own rule book, that we do not need somebody else's instructions, somebody else's rules. Like you know the history, lot of dynasties, Sultanate period, this Mughal dynasty, and above and all, Britishers ruled us for more than 100 years. So why? Because we were lacking on the basic component, that was constitution. We didn't have the constitution of our own country. So we didn't have any rule, regulation, any particular section if somebody misbehaves, if somebody said anything, so we used to just tolerate because we didn't have any of the mechanisms. But whatever the king had told something, we used to follow. What happened when monarchy system was there? It was not fixed because it was not codified. Now all the rules have been codified, so it is easier for everybody nationally as well as internationally to follow what are the rules and instructions. Now second word is socialist. Socialist is, the word socialist has been included with the philosophy, keeping in mind the philosophy and ideas and aspirations of Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. It tells that India is a socialist country, which means that it is socially uplifted. It has the aim to uplift the people socially also, not just economically or other thing, but we are socially helpful also, so that the people which are below poverty line, or there is a balance in the economy of the people. It's not that poor become poorer and rich becomes richer. So we are socially looking after the people also. Those who are lacking in the basic needs, we are socially helping them, okay, through some policies. Then secular. Secular means that whenever the word secular means, it means that state has no religion, or we can say state has all religion. Understood? Because if I say state has no religion, that another term can be said as that state has all religion, meaning thereby that whatever states we are belonging to, be it Rajasthan, be it be it UP, be it any other state, okay, from southern side, east, west, north, south, whatever it is, state particularly do not instruct us to follow any particular religion. So, for instance, state of Uttar Pradesh doesn't say that you follow Christianity because this is a religion of a particular state. It doesn't say like that. State of Rajasthan doesn't say that you should follow the religion of Muslims because state has no religion on its own. In turn, it says that you follow or practice any religion which you please, which you follow. So, state particularly has no particular region, or it has included all the religion, because I, me, you and your other friends, whatever, we are belonging, we are a particular class, we are belonging of different religions. So, in turn, state welcomes all religion, and state itself doesn't have any religion. Understood? Now, further, democracy, which means that constitution has been made by the will of people. Example, indirect form of government. Okay, democracy means rule of the people. Democracy, in turn, what is the famous quote? I'll write here. The famous quote of democracy is of, by, for and to the people. So, this is the basic quote which is given by the Americans, which have stated defined the principle of democracy as of, by and for and to the people. So, it by the word will you are able to highlight will of the people means indirect form of government, like we have representative form of government. Indirect means we are forming representative. Okay, representative form of government. Okay, representative form of government, because we elect our own prime minister, we elect our own ministers, we elect all the authorities in our own country. There are elections every particular year which is specified. So, it is indirect. We have democracy. It is for, by, to the people. It is the people who is electing their ministers, and ministers are working for the people. So, there is a principle of rule of the people. Again, go back to the word where the source of the constitution lies. It lies with the will of the people. Now, word republic is coming. Republic means, can you able to tell me what does republic mean? We all celebrate Republic Day. You have given me one example also. Yes, right. Republic Day, when we celebrate, on which day we celebrate? 26th January. Yes, 26th January every year. It means we celebrate that we are republic. We have our own head. There is a particular head. There is a principle of sovereignty. We are independent. We have the governor, president, prime minister, council of ministers. Okay. Every particular state has its own governor, deputy governor, then other local authorities, municipalities. So, this is what? This is what we are, a republic country. And when we talk about at a particular central level, so real head is prime minister, our real head is prime minister, and our nominal head is president. So, as you know that prime minister is the real head because he is indirectly elected by the people. There is a particular election, and then nominal head is president, as he is the first citizen of the country and is kind of a rubber stamp for the country. No such article, no such particular act, section cannot be sanctioned without the signatures of the president, and prime minister is a diplomatic, kind of a diplomatic minister. Now, let's move further. there are certain case laws which are associated with the preamble. So I have included some of the very important cases, few of them, and in further slides we will cover particularly cases according to the topic. So there are some case laws. First is Ray-Berubari Union and Exchange of Enclaves. The citation is 1960 Supreme Court judgment. In this particular case, it was argued that whether preamble is a part of the constitution, preamble is a part or preamble is not a part of the constitution, because naturally when we started our chapter, I already told you that preamble was included as an introductory statement, okay, because it is not possible humanly, practically not possible to read each and every chapter, each and every word of the constitution. It will take lot of time, right? So preamble is what? Preamble is the key to the constitution. Now there is a question to you all. If preamble is included as an introductory statement, will it be considered as the part of the constitution or not? Can you tell me, can you memorize it? So naturally some of you must be thinking that it can be and it cannot be. What is the point of discussion? So I'll explain you with a kind of example. So if you go to a market to buy a book of your own choice, suppose some of you must be saying that I like fiction, I like adventurous, somebody say no, I like all the politics, some book you want to purchase in the market. So in the market, when you will go to the shop, there are thousands of books, hundreds of books. How do you find your own particular book? So many of you will agree that you either read at the back of the page or the front index. I always look like this. I actually like the appendix, the last page, the introductory statement, contents, index and the back side of the book in which something is written. So similarly, preamble was working like that only. When we want to see the crux of the constitution, essence of the constitution, it is lying in the preamble. So at that particular time there was a lot of debates, discussion going on, that when 42nd amendment was also there, 42nd amendment also took place, yes, some words were also included in the preamble, and preamble is also an introductory statement. So should we include it as a particular whole constitution or not? So in this case it was argued. So first of all I would like to tell you that article 368 of the constitution deals with the changes, the amendments. Whenever any amendment take place, it is taken place with the in consonance with the article 368 of the constitution. No such amendment can take place without such article. So if any change is to be made in the constitution, it has to be seen whether it goes with the principles and the guidelines of article 368 or not. So article 368 says that any part of the constitution can be amended, but preamble is not considered as the part of the constitution, okay. So if it is not considered as the part of the constitution, it cannot be amended. Understood? Naturally, if something is not a part of that particular thing, it cannot be amended. It says that article 368 has the power to amend each and every or any part of the constitution, but preamble is not considered as the part. It is what? It is just the introductory statement. It is just the introductory statement. So how it can be considered as the part of the constitution? So in this case the judgment came and it was fixed. It held that since preamble is not considered as the part of the constitution, so it is not going with article 368. It is actually against article 368 and hence it cannot be amended. But in further slide I'll show you. In this case, Kesavanand Bharti versus State of Kerala. This is one of the, the longest hearing case in the history till now. In this case, the constitution bench sat. Constitution bench means when the quorum is full, okay, more than 5 judges are sitting together. So in this case, 13 judges comprising, the bench comprising of 13 judges listened to this case, and it was longest in the history till now. So in this particular judgment, it was stated that, I'll read it for you. The court ruled it was not a restriction to the constitutional amendments defined in Article 368 of the Constitution. So, Kesavanand Bharti court has ruled that the preamble is a part of the Constitution. It can be amended. However, Parliament is not allowed to amend any of the basic features of the Constitution, of the preamble, and naturally to the Constitution. So it says in this judgment, it actually contradicts the previous judgment which we studied of in re Berubari Union. In this judgment, we studied that preamble is not a part and hence it cannot be amended. But in the next judgment, it contradicts the previous judgment and stated that preamble is considered as the part of the Constitution, because according to Article 368, any part can be amended, and so like any other part, in turn preamble was also adopted like any other part of the Constitution with the power of Article 368, and hence it is considered as the part of the Constitution. Whenever we brought any change to the Constitution, it has some essence. So preamble is also adopted with the same power, same position like any other part, be it fundamental duties, fundamental rights, okay, or your any other kind of particular Article 14, 15, and this is also a kind of a part which was adopted with the same nature and going with the principles of Article 368, and hence since it is considered as a part of the Constitution, it is considered as the part of the Constitution, and hence it can be amended. Understood? So it was not considered something inferior. The same example goes to your book. In the book, that preliminary page, the back side of the book also considers as the part of that notebook. So similarly, this is also considered as the part of the notebook. And in the first slide we studied that preamble is what? Preamble is the key to the Constitution. So naturally, if it is the essence of the Constitution, the key of the Constitution, it is telling you the nature, the principle, the nature, the principle and the objective of a particular country, why it should not be considered as the part. So in the particular case of Kesavanand Bharti versus State of Kerala, it was held that preamble is a part of the Constitution, and hence it is considered as the part of the Constitution, and hence it can be amended. Okay, so but the last line says that preamble is not allowed to amend any of the basic features of the preamble. So basic features like your sovereign, socialist, secular, democrat, these principles brings some changes to the these are the qualities, these are the basic principles. Base is your niche where your foundation is built. Understood? Like these are the important aspects, basic features of any country. So I think your question must be arising in your mind that when 42nd amendment was taken place, it was taken and added some word. So I would like to tell that it did not hamper any of the basic features, it did not touch any other basic features and ruined them. It in turn added the quality in the preamble. So the words which were added, socialist, secular, unity and integrity of the nation, in turn beautified beautified the whole constitution. It gives the value to the constitution. It did not hamper with any other object or feature of the constitution. So whenever we amend, we see that it is not hampering the basic features of the preamble. So now it's the last part. It says that preamble to the Constitution of India is a well drafted document which states philosophy of the constitution. It declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and a welfare state committed to secure justice, liberty, and equality for the people, and for promoting fraternity, dignity and individual and unity and integrity of the nation. The preamble is the key to the constitution. It states in a nutshell the nature of the Indian state and the objectives it is committed to secure for the people. I hope now you have understood why it is considered as the key of the constitution, because it states such basic features of sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and the concept of a welfare state, that each and every society should be uplifted. We are not discriminating any other particular class and society, but we are the citizen of our country. We are the people of our country. We are the source of the people. So it states not only the philosophy but the basic principles of the constitution. Okay, so this is now for all. I hope you have studied well, and in next further slides we will study topic wise and we will continue with more case laws and sections. Okay, till then, okay, bye bye, take care, thank you.